Course, and the reigning champion, Ollie Hoare. Ready to do something special, Kara?
That's what we hear, Paul. That's what we hear. Ollie Hoare is in such good shape. He's been more of a pacer and helping out his teammates in different races, but he had said this is what his eye was on the whole winter, was coming here, defending his title here, but also perhaps snagging a world record in the process.
And you talk about teammates. It's an interesting setup because it's different nationalities. And here's Yared Nuguse, fresh off an American record at 3,000 meters.
And you know what's interesting about that is that we saw Nuguse run that amazing 7:28, 3,000 meters, but he said he was more confident that he could go after the mile record of 3:49 of Bernard Lagat. So we will be watching to see if an American record falls.
And next to them, another teammate. Mario Garcia-Romo.
Garcia-Romo had an incredible race at the World Championships with a huge personal best to run into 4th place in the final. All three of these men are capable of winning this.
Don't false start in a Wannamaker mile. That's the one thing you don't want to do here, and it's going to be a special race. Only 7 men in history have broken 3:50 indoors in the mile, and 18 years to the day that Bernard Lagat broke the American record. Yared Nuguse is the top American going after that mark, and maybe Ollie Hoare going after something even more special. As they get to racing, the guy they go to as the man to set the pace in these distance races is the 800-meter specialist Eric Sawinski.
And you know, this is interesting, Paul. We see all 3 men that train together out front together. This is how they train. They're used to being with each other. They're used to tracing each other. But at the same time, they know each other's weaknesses. They know where each one struggles. And at this point, they've decided to just go out as a team and dominate this effort.
And have broken away from the group. Neil Gorley, who won last week in Boston, now trying to get back in within contact of Nuguse. Sam Tanner, who just got beat by Gorley at the line. The New Zealander also trying to get back in the mix, but it is very swift here early on in the Wannamaker mile.
It is very swift, and that's why we see such a strung out race only a little over a quarter of a mile into this race. It is so strung out already, and Garcia-Romo has decided he is just going to attach himself to Sawinski and get dragged out here. At some point, Sawinski's going to step off and someone's going to have to do the work, but they want to take advantage of him as long as possible.
Garcia-Romo was the runner-up for Ole Miss at 1,500 meters in last year's NCAA championship, and now chasing down the backstretch with Sawinski. Hoare is going to get on a plane tomorrow to fly to Australia to compete in the World Cross Country Championships in the team event. Would like to have that trophy maybe in his check-in luggage as he goes overseas. Meantime, Nuguse in the mix, then Gorley, Tanner, Eric Holt, and Josh Thompson as they come through as designed. 1:53 or so at the half mile.
That couldn't have been more perfect pacing to take them through the halfway point. And we see Hoare, he seems a little antsy. He's floating out into lane 2 a little bit. It's almost as if he doesn't want to chop his stride, but he's not ready to go quite yet. This is such an incredible race out of all of these men. And again, we could see multiple records fall.
So this is the key, Carol. What happens now for the leaders when they lose the pace setter Sawinski? It's their race now. Garcia-Romo, Hoare, and Nuguse, the 3 teammates with 3 laps to go.
And you know, Ollie Hoare has a little Laura Muir in him. He is not afraid to go to the front. He is not afraid to do the work, put that target on his back and push, push, push. And we see him now slowly moving on the outside. I think he's probably going to slip in and see if he can power away over the next 2 laps. But Nuguse has decided he is going to go with him.
You can be teammates on most days wearing the same uniform, but when you're in a race for the Wannamaker trophy, you're no longer teammates, and now Nuguse moves to the lead.
And Nuguse is moving up. He has that record, 3:49. He wants to get that. That is in his sights, and he knows he's right on pace right now. And this is very interesting. He's decided, I'm going to take it. I'm going to pull myself and my teammate forward because I do not want to fall off this pace.
And Gorley back there in 3rd against the New Balance winner a week ago. The native of Scotland was an All-American at Virginia Tech, going up against Hoare and Nuguse, the American, a lap away from taking down a Wannamaker mile and going after Bernard Lagat's record in the last lap of this Wannamaker.
And this is what makes Nuguse so dangerous. He looks so relaxed. You can't tell that he just picked up the pace and ratcheted it up, and look at the dominance of this.
We talked about the American record, 3:49.89. But look at that world record down on the lower right of your screen. 3:47.01. Yared Nuguse. A new American record.
What a race out of Negus. You know, he was injured in the outdoor season. We didn't see him until the end of the season, but he has just put his name on the map to look for this